How you doing today, Wesley?
I'm doing great. How about you?
I'm doing so well. I'm really excited about this podcast journey, and I've been working with Green Dot for a long time in my real estate career, and it's just grown and grown. And we've been kind of just talking about the things that could, three real deal killers in real estate here in our area, and one of the ones that you guys get called on for a lot. But in your opinion, what do you think some of those things might be from your professional standpoint?
For my end, I would say that one of the biggest things that you should look for whenever you're interested in buying a home is going to be not necessarily the age, but the condition that the equipment's in. In our area, we have various micro environments where you're at closer to the coast. You will have more salt damage and just environmental damage, and you get less time out of your unit, even though the year may be relatively new. So that's the biggest thing, is the condition when it comes to the outdoor and indoor components. Inside the house, just changing your filters on a regular basis is the biggest thing that could extend the life of that piece of equipment. And then obviously a routine maintenance with whomever you're going with.
Yeah.
That's one of the big things. As far as the other issues that I could look at, that's going to be your duct work.
Right.
Because without, you have your system, but without a delivery system, which is the duct work, it's still not going to be efficient, and it's still not going to maintain comfort for you. So those are two huge things when it comes to the actual equipment itself. And then if you just want to dive into a third, it could be the overall insulation value that your home has, which again, all works hand in glove when it comes to just comfort.
Yeah. Yeah, it's definitely important. Thanks for sharing. I forgot to ask, can you tell me about yourself, Wesley? Tell me, we're always in this work business environment. Tell me about you.
I've grown up in the trades. I come out of college and went directly into an electrician status. Did electrical work for a few years, and I got interested in building automation.
Okay.
Which is actually in the commercial world. Not necessarily. It's now coming to the residential world with all the new accessories that everybody's trying to offer.
Yeah.
But this is like the new stuff in residential's old stuff in commercial. So I got into controls in commercial, and I love it. I love the whole figuring things out and making this big, massive piece just work in unison and together. So did that for a few years, and then I got into residential. Worked in that, and I was service tech for a long time. So I've seen a lot of problems and been able to band-aid a lot of stuff at times when needed, and then been able to obviously suggest replacement opportunities. And then again, after 10 so years of that, I had the opportunity to work with Chris at Green Dot. And, we've come out and tried to deliver what I thought was something lacking in the industry, which is, very fair priced labor and very good equipment.
Yeah.
Just that total package. A lot of people lean one way or the other. They want to sell all new stuff, or they want to repair a lot of things. I just wanted to be able to take care of each person individually, and whatever that need is, be able to make sure I can give them the full benefit to what they're paying for.
Yeah.
And that's something that Chris and I both agreed on, and we've started our Green Dot, and it's just been great ever since. Working with great people like you and all the business you get to offer us, just from all kinds of different avenues. It's just been wonderful.
Awesome. Yep.
Yep.
That's so great. Y'all have been such a good partner, and that's definitely reason why I'm so drawn to Green Dot as a partner, and I recommend, to my clients, and even personally, y'all, what I mean?
Sure have. Thank you.
You've been in my homes and with a whole bunch of my clients, and it's just something I would never stop recommending, because like you said, you provide that value and you provide options and affordability, because, new unit, thousands of dollars. Not everyone has that.
That's right.
hanging around. So that's super awesome that you're able to deliver the same quality and be flexible as you need to and still run your business effectively.
Yep.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Yeah, definitely. Um, so we were thinking earlier that, that all the technology is changing, seems to be changing all the time. We always get, oh, there's going to be this new Freon or this new stuff, and we're doing our, further education classes or continuing ed. Can you tell me why? It almost seems like I'm in college and I have to buy the newest edition for $200 for a textbook because the other one, might be missing a paragraph.
I totally understand. I mean, if you think about it, it's, the world we live in, everything's evolving.
Yeah.
There's always that bigger and better. There's always people out there trying to discover what's going to be the most efficient. And it boils down to efficiency.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, the 20-year-old air conditioner, if it stays maintained well, is going to perform at a level. It's going to use a certain amount of energy, when the new system could create cooler air with less energy. And a lot of times it is actually the science behind how that refrigerant works. And that's why they come up with different refrigerants. They rule out this one, they make this one, and now the new one's going to be obsolete in 25.
Yeah.
So it's just, there is like actual physics behind that refrigerant stuff when it comes to how it operates and how cold it can get doing a certain feature. But really it boils down to people trying to find ways for everyone just to save some dollars on electricity and not tax the grid so much.
Yeah.
That's the main reason why all the new things are coming out. And other ones are actually just because of convenience. I mean, these new thermostats that, you're out shopping and you come home and you're like, oh my goodness, I need to turn it up 3 degrees. I don't want to be cold when I get in the house.
Yeah.
That's just convenience factors.
Yeah.
Scheduling, which is an old one, but it's now required. You cannot put a thermostat in, doesn't have a schedule these days.
Wow.
And back in the day, you used to set it to 78 and you never touched it. Now you have the option of wake up time, go to sleep time, bedtime, bath time. You can just change, 50 times a day if you want to make your equipment run. So, that's something that's coming along. And there's new things like monitoring, literally like, if you go away for vacation, you could have your house monitored 24/7 by live people to say, oh my goodness, that unit is not heating properly. And you get the alert before you ever make it back home to know you need to schedule a service appointment or something.
Right.
So, I mean,
that's pretty
technology's, cool. Technology's really come a long ways when it comes to just helping us on the day-to-day.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true. It's really just moving along.
It is.
Yeah, that the last in my upstairs part of my house, the last thermostat y'all changed out when you repaired some of the damage that another person had done at my home. I just realized literally, and it's funny, but I'll admit it because it's a podcast. We're being real here. That the Ecobee, that system that y'all put upstairs, and I knew it had a little sensor, and there was one in my office, and then I looked at it and had some little alert, so I downloaded the app, and boy, did that thing change, and I've been so comfortable since. But it took me months to do it, and I'm sure he explained it to me, but I was probably on the phone or something like that,
Yeah, those little
but that
sensors.
was so cool.
Yep.
Yeah, so it could tell when I walk upstairs, and, it adjusts comfortably.
Absolutely. I would say technology's great.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, it's good, and I guess until it's not, but but as long as it stays convenient, we're always growing and evolving, and that's crazy. It could be a scary thing in North Carolina at the coast. Those are definitely something.
It is.
HVAC is a huge deal.
Yeah. I mean, if we take any kind of damage where water is not supposed to be where it is, that has the potential to damage your HVAC equipment or that ductwork that we were speaking on earlier.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, I mean, ductwork's one of those things. If it's wet and damaged, it just doesn't fix itself. So you're going to need to have it looked at.
Yeah.
The newer systems, they're so much more efficient. they're bigger, better, stronger. So they blow more air than the old ones and things like that. And there's only so much air that'll fit through a pipe, which is what your ductwork is.
Yeah.
So, that's the reason why you need to pay attention to your ductwork as well as your equipment. So like on these HVAC inspections that we do, that is one of the things that we look at. We try to let people know the potential of, if they do change this older system out, is the new ductwork going to be able to appropriately manage that airflow.
Right. Right. Definitely. And, when people go, and one thing I've noticed is for some folks, oh, my HVAC's brand new. I'm like, great, was it permitted, or if they added on or something like that. That's definitely something that I see folks don't do enough of, because it's got to be rated to cover that square footage,
Correct.
And if it's not, then it becomes a material fact, which, So, having a licensed HVAC professional is extremely important.
Absolutely. I mean, it's important for your comfort.
Yeah.
Because, that's the worst thing that can happen is that you buy your house and you're like, oh man, that's a brand new unit.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden you're like, well, this whole end of the house just doesn't feel like the rest.
Yeah.
And like you said, it's because it could have been added on, or somebody who went in and changed all this stuff didn't account for all these other, possibilities on the backside. So yeah, definitely, that view on, the permitting to make sure that it sized properly. If you have too much house and not enough air conditioning, it's not going to feel comfortable.
Right.
And vice versa. If you have too much air conditioning and not enough house, it can cause other issues. So, all in all, there is a perfect balance.
Yeah. Definitely. So if you could sum it up, I guess, some of the things when you get called out, or when you guys are a part of a real estate transaction that's ongoing, good, bad, just real, like, what are those top 3 things? I know you've hit on a lot of really good, important points, but to kind of sum it up.
I would say from the recent ones that we've done, the biggest thing that we find on these inspections is what appears, and like I said, this is an opinion and just the view that we get as going in on that day.
Yeah.
It looks as if people might have known there were problems, and there's some brand new tape or some brand new something that is literally like a Band-Aid to try to hide. And that's what you have to dig into. If somebody went under the house with a roll of duct tape and just started taping up cuts and tears in their ductwork, it looks good. However, it's not functioning properly. That's one of the biggest things is just the ductwork tears that are kind of just Band-Aided over. That is a huge one. Secondly, is just the cleanliness of the system that you're using. A dirty system's not efficient, and you don't get that cooling and or heating that you're looking for. So being that, we have to tear everything apart to take a look, because we do inspect all the pieces. We find a lot of dirty equipment. We find a lot of equipment that, if we were writing up a report, it would say, recommend cleaning system and recheck. Because dirt and grime that keeps air from flowing, it masks problems. So I would say that, just cleaning them and rechecking them, even though, you're like wanting to hurry up and get it over with, I understand.
Yeah.
But this is a long-term investment for your people.
Yeah.
So if it takes an extra day or two and a couple $100, it probably is worth it. And then that way you know for sure whether that system's functioning properly. And then I guess the third one is just going to be worn out equipment. And that happens over time. If you're trying to push something in any environment 15, 16 years, then those are electric motors. They're only going to turn over so many times before they fail. And although they're, tested and they try to make sure they do a very good job, the big deal is over time they just lose efficiency. They get what we call over amping, which is it's running harder than it's supposed to. It's kind of like running uphill.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of like that. So, we find a lot of just sort of like on their last leg equipment, because, most sellers don't want to put a brand new system in and then try to sell the home. So,
right.
and we make our best recommendations and suggestions, and so that everybody can walk away knowing that this is what it really looks like. So those were what I say would be the top.
Yeah, those are really good. That's good to know, because I could say roof, HVAC, and crawl space or other agent, but HVAC is a huge one.
And on a side note, just for your knowledge and everybody else's knowledge, if you were to purchase a unit today for the home we're sitting in,
Yeah.
and I sell it to you, I can give you a 10-year warranty. If you sell this house in 3 months, that reverts back to a 5-year from the manufacturer.
Okay.
So maybe it's not the best idea to say, like feet in the sand, I'm not going to buy the house unless we put a brand new unit in. Just for your knowledge, it may be better to somehow work it on the back end that the money transfers around so that the new owners can put it in to take advantage of the 10-year manufacturer warranty.
That's good to know. That's good to know. I didn't. Okay.
And
that makes sense.
It's not a Green Dot or any other HVAC company. It's actually
It's
a Train.
Yeah.
It's their warranties.
No, that's good to know.
Yep. Some of them you can pay to transfer, but sometimes it does get costly depending on where you're at in that 5 to 10 years.
Yeah, definitely. I didn't even know that. But yeah, if I was buying a house, I'd much rather have the 10-year versus the 5. And then, that'd be a nice credit. Okay, that's good to know. Awesome.
Yep.
Thank you so much.
You're very welcome on that one.
Thank you for coming to the podcast and, providing these reasons and things to look for when you're buying real estate in Southeastern North Carolina on the coast. It's not like Raleigh or the mountains. We are definitely unique. So thanks for watching our podcast. Wherever you watch your podcast or listen to your podcasts, we'll be back and we'll be talking more about real estate and all the other important pieces and folks that are involved right here in Southeastern North Carolina.